Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me today is Bala Gowthaman as we take a look at a critical ruling from the Supreme Court regarding the minimum marriageable age. Is this being uniformly implemented across religions? And if not, why not? And what is it that the apex court is waiting for? All this and also the reverberations of this at the state level. There are some unintended consequences that could come out of that. Let's welcome Bala Gowthaman ji. Bala Gowthaman ji, namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you, sir?
Namaste. Doing great as always. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gowthaman ji. So today, apex court ruling says that the minimum manageable act enforcement, this has to be taken up by somebody else, whereas it has felt in the past to jump in and say that you shall do this to direct the government. Why this double standards to start with? Like in some things, Supreme Court, for example, electoral bond, it jumps in and says you shall do this. Whereas in a critical matter such as this one, marriageable act enforcement of minimum age of 18, it is kicking the can down the road back to the government. What is going on in the apex court's mind, sir?
Sir, apex court is having, I think it's a sort of a disease that the court has got. This is of late what I am seeing from many observations or some court judgments. See, when it comes to Hindu things, then the court will give you some bhashan that constitution is above everything. But when it comes to matters regarding the minorities, it will say that in some cases, you can't say that because legislature has to do it. And one classic example for this, later on, when RTE is introduced, that is right to education, the Supreme Court ruled that Christian and Muslim education institutions should be exempted from it. That is the minority institutions, not Christian and education, to be precise, minority education institutions. The idea of this act is to provide education to everyone. That is the idea of it, because education is a right. That is what the constitution has said. So to implement it, the government has formulated this. So 25% of the seats needs to be reserved for people belonging to the poor background. And the important thing that you need to note, the fee of those 25% of the people will be borne by the government. It is not that you are going to give education free of cost. The cost will be taken by the government, and this is what it is. The minority said that it is an interference in our affairs. Court said now they can be exempted from this. So no minority institution has now any mandate to give compulsory free education. So the minority right vetoes over everything. When you say that education is a fundamental right, it is for everyone to do it. And minority right overpowers your fundamental right. And this is one judgment that came 2012-2013 period. And now this is another interesting judgment. Now they say that, look, marriage age is fixed 18 plus. And this is something everyone knows. But this cannot be uniformly implemented for all religions. This is what the latest ruling says. So my question is, now, who is vetoing this Constitution of India? The court on many occasions said that Constitution is supreme. That since to safeguard Constitution, we are taking suo motu cases. To safeguard Constitution, we don't want to bulldozer action to be taken against culprits, because it is against the Constitution. Now, what is this? Is this not against Constitution? You have enacted that the minimum marriageable age is 18. And now you say that this cannot be uniform. So you mean to say that Sharia is above your Constitution. Now, where is our people who say that the Constitution is above religion? Where are those voices which we used to hear from all the quarters, from JNU to Rahul Gandhi, and from the people who are lecturing us from the United States, that is some organization for religious freedom or what it is. In US, Now, why they are silent about it? When you criticize the government for taking some action, now a court has now given this particular judgment. And now this judgment, this can be quoted by some other courts also in some other place. And according to our constitution, if High Court or Supreme Court they make a judgment, unless or otherwise it is ratified by the Parliament through another legislation, this is to be treated as law. And this is something that we need to understand. Now the law of the land is the minimum marriageable age of 18 is not applicable to all communities. Now it has become a law. So you have vetoed the constitution, and now you said that it is up to the legislature to come and legislate. Yes, they legislated on electoral bonds. You stepped in and said that it is illegal. And now you want them to do. Why? Why you want to shift the responsibility to the legislature when you own up things when electoral bond issue is around? So I just want to, this is something that each and everyone has to ponder. Why courts are having double standards when it comes to minority affairs, when it comes to Sharia? So you mean to say that the constitution given by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is not that, it is subservient to Sharia law. And this is what we have to take it.
Well, the first thing is that whether it is because of this or on its own, there have been some reverberations in state level. For example, the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister, Chandrababu Naidu, is now saying that people should have more children. And again, see, if you are not going to implement the minimum age, but you're just going to say have more children, the same group had told India to follow family planning, and only some communities followed this family planning. The others chose to ignore it. So somehow the economics doesn't seem to apply to some communities. How those communities are bringing food to the table is anyone's guess. So now Chandrababu Naidu is saying that you should start having more children. But how can somebody has done a conscious decision that unless you have a certain standard of living, I don't want to start a family. This is what has been drilled down for 30, 40, 50 years. This change in tack, what is the reason for it? Or is it just purely political electoral math?
Look, the statement made by Chandrababu Naidu in the context, he says that when you go to the rural areas of Andhra Pradesh, you are seeing only older persons in those villages and there are no youngsters. So if things are going like this, India will become like Europe or Japan, where the native race is getting eliminated. And that is why he says that now I advocate for more children. And this is the point he made. And the second point what he made, this is a dangerous thing. It's a double-edged sword. What he said is, now if anyone who is having a minimum of 2 children or more, and those persons they alone should contest in local bodies, and he is thinking of bringing such a legislation there. And this is a statement made by Mr. Chandrababu Naidu. Yes, the intention is good. I am always for this. I always said that Hindus have to bear more children. And my Guruji, Sree Gowthaman, some 40 years back, he foresaw this problem. And he said that any Hindu who is having 10 children or more, any Amma having 10 children, they are awarded with 𝗣𝗽𝗽𝗏. He did that 40 years back. He knows what is going to come. And he said that this family planning, all these things are not going to work. It is going to ruin us. Look, see all the advertisement, what the government, all the state governments, or all our central government has issued from the day when you started this family planning program to till day. A father and a mother will be there. They will be with the bindi, and there will be 2 children. Have you ever seen one advertisement in any part of this country where a father with the skull cap or a mother with the parda and 2 children with the parda or cap? Have you ever seen such any advertisement anywhere in this country? So even the government targeted the Hindus even in their advertisement. So this is what has happened in this country over a period of time. And Hindus are encouraged. And even in some government hospitals, I overheard things that when I have gone to those hospitals for some other patients, they say, third child, why you have not done family planning? These advices the nurses and the doctors will give in these hospitals. Had any of them has given such an advice to a Muslim? I haven't heard in any hospital that this has happened. And in some places, they force them to go for this, these operations. And they are incentivized for doing it. And successfully over the past 30, 40 years, the government has carried out an operation to finish off Hindu population. And this is one thing that we have to bear in mind. I challenge any government that has put up an advertisement for a Muslim, or whether you have done this canvassing in an area where you have more people. When you talk about child labor, the government will go and do awareness program and other things in child labor infested regions. When it is a HIV program, they go and do such sort of thing in HIV infested area. Even though they have a data that in which area they have more children, the mothers have more children, whether the government had selected any one area to do this type of awareness program, this has not happened in this country. So the partiality starts from the government program itself. And now, I come from Kanyakumari district, where this government has introduced a scheme, and the court has not stayed it till today. You have the minority scholarship program. So what is that minority scholarship program? If I am a Hindu Nadar, I will get scholarship, only the BC scholarship, which is a pittance. If I become a Christian and I declare myself a Christian Nadar, then I will get a minimum 10 times more than what I get as a Hindu Nadar. This is your scholarship. This is the minority scholarship scheme is there. The minority scholarship scheme, because it is BJP Tamil Nadu, in 2010, 11, 12 and 13, they opposed it. It is the first BJP state unit to oppose this practice that it says, because I have written the draft for it. So I know that the government incentivized conversion in that period. The UPA government has done this. The Gujarat government stopped it. And the court said that there is no right for the Gujarat government to stop it because the central government is giving the money, so you have to give. And then again, the court at that time never preached equality like this, like the same judgment. The court said, now for minority, giving a scholarship based on religion, but your constitution said that no discrimination should be based on religion. And here it is a pure religious discrimination. The scholarship has been done. Take each and every scheme, whether it is admission to the schools, starting an educational institution, getting scholarship to a person. Everything a Christian or a Muslim is incentivized. And a Hindu is deprived of everything. How can you ask a Hindu to bear more child when you are penalized for having children and when you are incentivized for having children? If this particular rule is going to be applied in this scenario, who is going to be the winner and who is going to be the loser? Already I have spoken about this. Conversions are happening in many villages. We have spoken about it a lot. And Muslim settlements are coming in each and every remotest village. So who is going to be the automatic person who can file nominations? Because who is having more than 2 children?
So again, it works opposite to the intent.
So, yes, our race is going towards extinction. Yes, I agree. If that is going to be the case, then Chandrababu Naidu has to take this issue as a national issue. He has to come out with certain demands. Remove minority special status for minorities from the constitution. Remove minority rights as a special right in the constitution. Abolish all schemes that targeted minorities only. Have a level playing field. Implement it for 5 to 10 years and then go for this. then there will be a level playing field. If you are going with this, where I am incentivized for being a Christian or a Muslim, where all the schemes from my birth to death is going to work against me, what type of social security I have and what type of social security they have, and who will bear more children.
And to add insult to injury, Mr. M.K. Stalin also says that something is echoing similar sentiments. Sir, this is a surprise to me that Mr. Stalin also says that, yeah, this is what is needed, except that he has done a slightly different interpretation.
Yes, that is what he is trying to make a politics out of it. And he is trying to make a divide from north to south. And that is what he said. There is a saying in Tamil, 𝗤𝗬𝗏 𝗤𝗏𝘀𝘀. This 𝗤𝗬𝗏 is referred in our Abhirami Andadi. 𝗂𝗂𝘀 𝗂𝗏𝘀𝘀. Likewise, it goes to 16. But he quoted one from 𝗑𝗑 Viswanathan. He is a Dravidian ideologue in the early 20th century. And he quoted his 16 Selvam. And then he said that it is a time that we have to bear more children, because parliamentary constituencies are now based on population. So they are going to redraw the borders of, they are going to, revisit the constituency. So if that is going to happen, if our population is not going to be high, the seats in our state will go up, and in other places it is going to go high. So he is trying to play a politics between north and south. This is again a diversion tactics. Now, even in north and south, just let us have a visit of the Muslim and Hindu growth rate from 1951 to till date. Even in our state, ours, the Hindu growth rate is around about 24% or so. The Muslim growth rate is about 36% or so. Almost it is more or less similar across the country. Since the Muslims are very higher in the northern part of India, and the Hindu growth rate is slightly above what is there in south, so the population is going to the population growth is going to be in a higher plane than what is going to be in the south. And considering the migrant population which is taking place from Bangladesh and other things, the bulk of it which is going towards the north, the real gainer is going to be the Muslims. But that is happening in the northern part of the country. He is making it as a north-south issue and trying to hide that the Muslim population jump or the influx of Bangladeshi illegal immigrants, and those things are being carefully, they are, put inside below the carpet, and it is again made as a regional issue between north and south. This is what he is trying to do.
Sometimes one wonders why they even have to say something when they don't do work. You're elected to do a job, and unnecessarily comments like this, and not without thinking through the entire thing. It's a challenging period for India in general.
Sir, again, you have to understand what he said. It is now people from villages are migrating out, and only older people are there in the villages. If that is going to be the case, it is whose failure to provide those facilities in the rural areas? Who ruled the country till today? Why the population got migrated? Why this family disintegration is happening? Since you have taken people out of their religious bondings, cultural bonding, now they are not owning up their own land. That is why migration is happening. You have not provided them livelihood there. You have not provided quality education. You have not provided quality health care. And you have not provided them an ecosystem where they are proud of their own village, or proud of their own Kuladevata, or proud of their own family, proud of their own community. You have spoiled all these things. That is why this migration is happening. So who took all these elements from the life, from the day-to-day life of a person? Who altered the school syllabus? Who took the temple away from the community? Who took local administration from the local villages to the government's PWD? Who has done all these things? Who has removed people from their roots? It is your educational system. It is your political maneuvering with the various other people. It is your submission towards alien forces for the sake of some minority votes. And this migration from villages, this flight of people from these rural areas, all these things happen because of your own wrong policies. And now you are crying foul and saying that the people are going outside. And you are responsible for that. All the politicians in India, they have to claim responsibility for it. Who removed Ramayana from your syllabus? Who thought that caste is a negative thing in this country? Who thought it? Go to the Tamil Nadu syllabus. You have a lesson on 𝗤𝗎𝗏, small lesson. You have very small lesson on 𝗤𝗏𝗍𝗏. And you have lessons on World War II and other things in a very more spaces dedicated towards that. And in none of the question papers, you can see questions from 𝗤𝗎𝗏 or 𝗤𝗏𝗍𝗏. They won't ask questions in the examinations. So the teachers, they will conveniently, they will skip those lessons. Is it not happening in this land? How will they be proud of their own place then? Who killed it? So the migration, what is happening today, the disintegration of family, why it happened today, why there is a cultural erosion that is being happening throughout the country, the hinterland which are the custodians of our culture, why they are now out without it, because this is only because of your faulty education system and your policies.
Well, much to ponder, and we'll be back revisiting this topic maybe in a couple of months' time, because there appears to be some sort of a reason why this has been floated up. And thank you so much, Gowthaman ji, and we'll be back again, viewers, next Thursday with him, same time, same location. Namaskar.
Namaste.